It is a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to present to you Dr. Patrice Motsepe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think the presence of each and every one of you is a living proof that the legacy, the spirit, the values of Nelson Mandela is alive. And also that the spirit of the Rainbow Nation. I mean, you represent South Africa in its beauty, in its inclusivity, in its common commitment to what Nelson Mandela stood for. And I think all of us take huge encouragement and huge inspiration from the commitment to uphold the legacy of Nelson Mandela and to continue this country on the path that he set for us. I'm now going to start by recognizing and paying my respect to President Ramaphosa and to welcome Barack Obama. Welcome back home, Barack. You represent the very best of America, the very best of Africa, and the very best of the world. Mama Graça Machel, we're most honored to see you here with us. The Mandela family, I saw Zinzi, Zenani, and various members of the Mandela family. Can we clap hands for them, please? The chairman of the Nelson Mandela Foundation and the CEO, the king of the Zulu nation, Isilo Samabanja, and all traditional leaders and kings who are here with us. His Grace Bishop Barnabas Likhanyani, and all of the religious leaders and faith-based leaders who are here with us. And of course, in conclusion, recognition of all our ministers. I saw former President Kgalema Motlanthe. Mkhuluwam, welcome. You know, when we met many years ago in the way we did, we'd always say, "Hola Madiba, hola. Hola Madiba, hola." Ukhona umoya wakaMadiba la. Mina ngiyakuzwa lo moya lo. Moya wa Mandela uteng, moya wa lerato le wa kopano. En is eintlik ook belangrik. In die gees van Mandela is dit belangrik dat ons almal saam is. Is pragtig. And everything he stood for. Now, in 1994, when Nelson Mandela was inaugurated, it was a deeply, deeply emotional. It was a historic day, but a deeply, deeply emotional day for all of us. And I remember my wife and I, Precious, we shed a tear because I think many South Africans were very emotional. We never thought that we would live to see Mandela take that oath as president of this country and unite all of us and give hope and inspiration to all of us. But President Obama, we had the honor of also going to your inauguration in 2009, as well as in 2013. And we left and worked in America for some time. And to see you, a president whose father grew up in Africa, take the oath and say, "So help me God," was a deeply, deeply emotional experience for all of us. And on that day as well, we also shed a tear. And because it was living proof that in America, as well as in anywhere else in the world, and particularly in South Africa and in Africa, every young man, every young girl, through hard work and sacrifice, can realize the very, very highest of their dreams. And your presence here is a strong indication of that inspiration, that hope, and that belief in self-ability and and the realization that indeed through hard work and sacrifice, our young people and all of us as a nation can realize the dreams that Madiba stood for and the dreams that each of us uphold. I think all of us have very special memories of Nelson Mandela. And when I was asked to say a few words on behalf of the Motsepe Foundation, I two occasions that came to mind. On the one occasion, we had a meeting with Madiba as business leaders. And I think the meeting was in Sandton, at the Sandton Convention Center. And a few months afterwards, we had another meeting. And he called me aside and he called me aside and he said to me, there was something I liked in what you said at the business meeting at the convention center. And I was a bit embarrassed because that meeting was so many months ago and I didn't remember what I had said. So I sort of humbly asked, Tata, can you please remind me, what did I say? So I said, please remind me, what did I say? And he said, at that meeting, we made a statement that the future of the successful, the future of the educated, the future of the wealthy in South Africa, and the future of the families of the successful and wealthy is not bright, and in fact, they do not have a future if the poor and the unemployed and the marginalized have a future. And that memory stuck with me for many, many years afterwards. And that was partly why in 1999 we formed the Motsepe Foundation, and in 2013 joined the Giving Pledge, because it was also part of a recognition that all of us are what we are because of the people of this country, because of the sacrifices, because of the hard work. All of us in our lives had somebody who gave us a helping hand. And there's a huge, huge obligation on those of us who are in a position to make a humble contribution to give those who are less fortunate a brighter future. What is also important, particularly in this era of corruption, in this era of people in various positions of authority, particularly in government, but corruption is not confined to government. Many of us in the private sector also have to be very, very careful. In fact, in most cases, in order for you to have a corrupt politician, you need an equally corrupt businessman or an equally corrupt entrepreneur. In many instances in South Africa and in Africa and in many parts of the world, the initiators of corruption are us, business people, those of us in the private sector. And it is very, very, very important. There are so many people who sacrifice so deeply, and many of them paid the ultimate sacrifice. The ultimate sacrifice. There's a huge duty and a huge obligation on all of us to make sure, on all of us in the business community, on all of us in the private sector, to make sure that in our interactions and engagements with politicians, with senior politicians, and particularly with those politicians that those of us in the business community may have a relationship with, that we behave in a manner that reflects zero tolerance of corruption, zero tolerance of any insinuation of improper conduct, and it's even more important that corruption is not just seen to be not tolerated, but that in the minds of ordinary South Africans, there is indeed a perception that there's a huge commitment to zero corruption and to uproot corruption. Now I'm going to, it's fine, you can clap hands, it's fine. I'm now going to sit down, and I want to conclude by saying that once more, welcome home, Barack. You inspire us immensely, and we want to continue working with you to those values of equal opportunities, equal access to opportunities for ordinary citizens, and particularly for the poor and for young girls, and the values of freedom of speech, freedom of association, the sort of universally accepted values that gives hope and gives inspiration, that we adhere to them and uphold the legacy and the values of Mandela, and make sure that we build in this country the best place for all our people. South Africans are caring people, South Africans are loving people, and together we will make this the best place in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Dr. Motsepe.